or YouTube watching live. We're just about to go live. I'm going to admit everyone in our Zoom meeting. If you are joining us via Zoom, hello, hello, hello. Can someone please give me a sound test? David, good to see you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Awesome. Welcome. Welcome. I'm going to give everybody joined. Today is day one of Personal Finance, Fall 2021 at the University of Houston, Bauer College of Business. So if you're on the wrong flight, please let a flight attendant know so you can exit the aircraft immediately. And if you're on the right flight, well, welcome aboard. I'm excited to get started, always excited, a little nervous. I don't know about you, but I always get a little nervous on the very first day of class, even though you're there and I'm here, and it's not as stressful if we were in the same room, in a way. I mean, there's always a little anxiety, right, when you step into a new group for you. This is an asynchronous course, so again, if you're not with us on the Zoom meeting, then I'm assuming I will get to meet you via Facebook or YouTube. This is being live streamed to Facebook and YouTube as we speak. If you're not sure where to find the Facebook page or the YouTube playlist, you can go to moneystudygroup.com, and at the top right of the page there's a YouTube icon, and that should take you to the playlist for this course. So that's where we will be streaming this that's where we will be streaming each of our Zoom meetings, so that if you're not here, if you're taking advantage of the asynchronous element of this online course, then you're welcome to watch on YouTube or Facebook. Well, just a little note, I don't know about you, but when I watch something on YouTube, I can listen a lot faster than I can talk. And so you can listen much faster than I can talk as well. So there's this cool feature on YouTube where you can change the playback speed, which is how I listen to pretty much everything. And the cool thing about watching it on YouTube is you can rewind, fast forward, if you missed something and you need to go back. So just wanted to kind of plant that seed. Today we're going to talk about, I'm going to spend as much time as you want if you have questions in each of these Zoom meetings. One of the benefits of being here is you get to ask questions, and I'm happy to answer questions. So I will always take time to answer questions during, even before we get started. So that's kind of how this will go. So if you have questions, you're welcome to pop those into the chat. And one of the things I want to encourage you to do every time we have this meeting is just, if you're here, go ahead and chat in your name and the time that you joined. So just get in a habit of doing that. It's kind of like me taking roll. I want to know who's here on the Zoom call. We're paying close attention to that this semester, because at some point we're going to get back to normal, and I'm not sure if this course will continue to be an asynchronous course or an online asynchronous course, or if we'll go back to the normal hybrid in class once a week. So one of the things I'm going to ask you this semester is to tell me how you've experienced online courses at U of H, and I'll be eager to know what you think, what you want, what you're looking for, because as long as I'm teaching this course this way, I'm always looking for ideas to improve it and make it better and make it more effective. So welcome aboard. I'm Jim Munchback. I'm going to be your host, your facilitator, your professor of personal finance. My background, I'll give a little bit of overview of my background just so you hopefully have some confidence that this is worth your time. I'm a certified financial planner. I've been in the business of financial planning for many years. I've been in the business of financial advice giving for even more years. I have a lot of letters after my name, which mean absolutely nothing to you or anyone else. They certainly don't mean anything to my family, but what they do mean, all those letters after my name. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a PhD, so you don't have to call me Dr. Munchback, although it always makes me smile to think that somebody thinks I'm that smart. I'm really not. But I have taken a lot of courses, and I have a lot of credentials in the financial services business. And so what that means to you is that I have done a tremendous amount of homework, and I do know what I'm talking about, and I am an expert in several key areas that will be of very big interest to you if you're interested in learning how to make wise choices with your money. So this course, Introduction to Personal Finance, is one of the things that I'm most passionate about in my life. It's one of the greatest privileges and opportunities I've ever had in my professional life, and I'm always thankful to the people that I know at the University of Houston who invited me to participate as an adjunct professor. So I do have my own business. Bauer Financial is a registered investment advisory firm, and it's Texas, licensed in Texas. We do business around the country. I am the director of wealth management, the CEO, the founder of the company. And the beautiful thing, I think, about this course, one of the things I want you to know as we get started, is that all of the tools, the premium planning platform, and all of the technology tools that I use on a day-to-day basis with my clients, those same tools are being made available to you. The course, the online course, the content for your course is found at moneystudygroup.com. That's where you will register and enroll. You will have to enroll in the course if you want to earn an A in the course. If you want to actually even pass the course, you have to enroll. Sorry about that. The cost is $79.95. For a decade or so, I taught this course, and we used someone else's portal, Dave Ramsey, and we used the content that was provided by Dave Ramsey's team, and that content wasn't really updated for the most part over those 10 years. It was $100. So when COVID hit and we were encouraged we were required to go online, I made a huge investment to build an online portal where your training course is at moneystudygroup.com, and that is that's the technology platform we're using to give you the content for the course. But inside that course, you're going to see, after you enroll, after you register at moneystudygroup.com and enroll in the course, you're going to start to see very quickly that your instruction involves participating in another online platform, which is the Bauer Planning Portal, which is brought to you by Right Capital. So that may seem like inside baseball. It may seem a little complicated at first, but I promise you, if you just follow along with the video tutorials, you'll see that this entire course and all of the technology that we use, including Zoom, including GroupMe for questions and answers, and just part of your class participation, which I'll talk about in a minute, worth 200 points, by the way, in a course that gives 1,000 points total. So lots of technology. We have Facebook, YouTube, Zoom, GroupMe. This course, every session will be in iTunes as well, so if you want to just listen, you can do that. And every course is recorded and live streamed to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So lots of technology going on, and that doesn't even include the actual financial planning software that you'll be using to develop your own financial plan throughout the course. And so let's get into the good news, the bad news, and the big idea. And then after that, I will go over a few of the nuts and bolts about the course and how you will earn your A. But before I do that, I want to ask you a question, and I want you to think about this question. You're welcome to chat in and give me an answer. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, leave a comment below. I will see those comments, and this will be part of the protocol moving forward throughout the semester, is your class participation, which is a huge part of this course. It's worth 200 points. And so when I say leave a comment below, one of the things I'm going to ask you to do in each of your lessons, each of your assignments, is just grab a screenshot of your comments so that you can save that. At the end of the course, I get to decide how many points you earned for class participation. And I've found that most of you don't want to be, you may not want to show your camera, which is fine. You may not be on this Zoom call to participate. So that turns into something that's very difficult for me to measure in terms of class participation. Obviously, if we were on campus, class participation would require that you be in the classroom. And I was shocked to learn early on in my career as an adjunct professor that many students don't think that they should have to be in class. And that's fascinating to me. But nonetheless, in this course, because it's asynchronous, because it's an online course, I'm going to require you to participate, and I'm going to require you to keep a record of your participation. One of the ways I'm going to do that is I'm going to say, I want to know what you're thinking. I want you to answer this question. I want you to think about this and then put a post somewhere, either in the course at Money Study Group. That's number one. Leave a comment. Everything in Money Study Group has comment sections. Or leave a comment on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, whatever you prefer if you like social media. But it's your job to grab a screenshot, and you'll include that in your weekly assignment. So this week, one of the questions I want you to think about, one of the questions I want you to answer, and I want you to post your answer, just a short, brief comment telling me, how are you feeling about the responsibility of managing money as an adult? How are you feeling about taking the ownership of your own financial life after you graduate? How are you feeling about that? Are you super stressed? Are you excited to be learning how to do that because you're ready for financial independence? Or are you just like, I have no idea how I'm going to make ends meet? I just want to know at the beginning of the course, how are you feeling? What does that look like for you? What kind of emotional response do you have to the idea of being responsible for your own financial future once you graduate from college? So that's a question I want you to think about, and I want you to really kind of summarize your answer to that question this week somewhere in your assignment. And again, you need to post that. You might want to post it in GroupMe, but I would discourage you from posting these kinds of class participation things in GroupMe. Let me talk about GroupMe for just a minute. Is Brittany on the call? We have an honors student who is going to be helping me manage the GroupMe group. If you haven't already logged in, I would encourage you to do that today. The link is open to join the GroupMe, and you'll again see that at moneystudygroup.com. There's a link there for the GroupMe. Once you register, once you enroll in the course, you'll have a link to GroupMe. And it tells me that you're listening, that you're following along, that you're participating in the course. And GroupMe is the place that you'll post questions like, hey, this week's assignment is such and such, and I'm not sure how to do A, B, or C. And you'll post a question there, which is good. I'm monitoring, and with the help of our honors student who's volunteered for the assignment to help me manage the GroupMe, we'll be looking at your questions, but even more so, we'll be looking at those students who have the capacity and the initiative to answer questions, to say, hey, this is how you do that, this is where you go, this is so. Instead of emailing me or texting me with those kinds of questions, please use GroupMe for that. I will pop in there every once in a while and provide some insights or helpful answers to questions, but pretty much I'm only going to be jumping into GroupMe to answer questions that you guys cannot answer on your own. So we've got a couple of levels of monitoring going on in GroupMe, and I think it's a good tool. So I'm still always eager to know what you think. If there's a better tool out there for this kind of interaction, I'm open to it, and we can make that change immediately. But so far, everybody seems to, well, the majority of people seem to appreciate GroupMe, so hopefully that's good for you. So let me see if I can try to stay on track here. I am going to I'm feeding my iPad into this session. So what you're seeing is me waking up my iPad, trying to get my screen right. So we're gonna talk about the good news, the bad news, and the big idea. And I'm going to spend some time. If you haven't already looked at the syllabus, this is the syllabus, and I'll spend some time answering questions and kind of highlighting how the course works in terms of the nuts and bolts of really how you earn an A in the course. So some of the key things that you'll be expected to do this semester, I'll go over that before we end the call. Typically these calls are going to last between 30 and 45 minutes, again, depending on the number of questions you have. So I'm looking at comments, and I'm not seeing any questions at this point, so thank you, Jacob, for your comment there. And Faith, I'm not going to read your comments because anyone who's in the group can see your comments, I believe. Can you guys see each other's comments? I believe you can. I know I can. Yes, to everyone. So you guys should be able to see your comments there. That's great. I appreciate that. That's exactly the kind of, brief, clear description and what I'm looking for, to get a sense of how you're feeling about the weight of managing money on your own. So thanks for that. If you're Faith says the GroupMe link on the website says the link is expired. I will have to send a note to the person, the student, the honors. Brittany is managing that, and I think, I'm not sure why, but we'll get that taken care of, Faith. Anyone who's in the GroupMe now, if you could just pop a note in and say that the Mercy. Okay, Mercy. Sorry, on the top of the screen, if you click GroupMe link, that works. Okay. Oh, you know what? I bet if you click the GroupMe link in the syllabus, that may not be updated, because I think I forgot to update that. So if that's where you're clicking the GroupMe link, that's going to be last semester's. I apologize. I didn't even think about that. So now I'm looking. Click here. Yeah, I'm not. So Faith, where did you get the link? I will post an announcement as well with the correct link. But you're right, Mercy. She said if you go into the course at moneystudygroup.com, you'll have to register and then enroll in the course, and then you'll have a link which is the correct link. I updated that yesterday. So I will send out an announcement later today with the GroupMe link. So sorry about that if anybody got the wrong link. So let's see. Okay, cool. I don't see any questions at this point, so I'm going to jump right in and get to it. So let's start with the good news, the bad news, and the big idea. I want you guys to know that this course, it's been evolving over many years. One of the things that kind of set the table for this course. When I first got the invitation to teach personal finance at the University of Houston, I had a good friend. His name was Sam. Sam was one of the wisest people I ever knew. Sam recently passed away from cancer. But Sam was an engineer. He wore a pinky ring, which I always thought was kind of interesting. He was from Ireland, and he had a very different philosophy about life and about money, different than we have in the United States, growing up in a culture of consumerism like I did, where, we have, it's a different culture. So Sam was very frugal. He was very matter of fact. He was very straightforward. And so when I started teaching this course, I had a group of friends that we met with every Friday at Einstein's Bagel, actually. We would get coffee and bagels every Friday, and we would just share life with each other. We would pray together. We would encourage one another. We studied the Bible together. Mostly we were just friends who were doing life, and we were just a resource to one another, and we came to love one another pretty much. We don't meet anymore, but it was a fantastic time in my life, and that was a fantastic resource. And Sam was like the key guy. He was like our informal leader. We all respected him tremendously. So when I got the opportunity to teach this course, I was pretty excited, but I was also kind of concerned about how do I take this opportunity to be a teacher, and how do I teach these students something that's really going to make a difference in their life. And so I was kind of not sure exactly. I knew that I had a tremendous amount of knowledge about financial planning, and I knew that I was the right person for the job. I just didn't know exactly what the job was and how I was going to do it, because it was all new to me. So Sam was very clear. He gave me this advice. He said, the only thing that matters is that you teach them the basic law of personal finance, which is the first law of personal finance is spend less than you earn. That was it. It was like, yeah, you teach them that. Sam said, you teach students that. If they can learn that, if they can take that one discipline and put it into practice, they'll be successful. It's that simple. And I thought, man, it can't be quite that simple. I mean, anyway, when I got started in this course, Sam was the one who set the table for me to be very clear about kind of what the goal was, what the outcome was, and that was his advice. And so I wanted to share that with you in a story from my friend Sam. And so that's kind of the good news, is that this entire course was designed. It has evolved over the years, but every piece of the course, the lectures, the videos that you're going to watch online, your homework assignments, your online discussion, and especially the online financial planning. You're going to use this online financial planning software that's going to help you connect the dots in your personal financial life. It's going to help you understand the concepts and put them into practice and see how they actually work with a trajectory moving forward, so that when you get to be my age, you'll see the results of making wise choices with your money today. So that's kind of the good news, is that no question about it, if you have a good plan for the future, you're going to have better results. If you have a good plan with better strategies, with smarter strategies, which I am going to teach you some smarter strategies for each of the important elements of managing money. If you have smarter strategies, you're going to have better results. And that's kind of the good news. The other good news, I think, that I always want to encourage you to understand and recognize is that financial planning is kind of an art and a science, but it really is a discipline. And discipline is small steps that you can take, that if you... So I went to high school with Magic Johnson. Maybe you don't know who he was, but at the time I think he was probably the greatest team basketball player of all time. Maybe still today, if you put that word team in there. He was phenomenally talented, and I met him in 6th grade, and he was already huge. He had huge hands, and when I met him, the day that I met him, a friend of mine who was a year older than me, Kirk, said, "Hey, I want you to meet somebody. They call him Magic." Because I was telling Kirk, "Man, dude, you have big hands." Kirk had big hands. In fact, he won the Guinness Book of World Records for snatching pennies. At the time, he snatched 52 pennies. Snatching, you stack the pennies on your elbow and then you snatch them. He won the Guinness Book of World Records. So he had big hands. And I was always like, "Dude, your hands are so big, they're weird." And he's like, "You think I have big hands? Let me introduce you to this guy. He has really big hands." His name, they call him Magic because he's so good at basketball. Later on, my grandfather, who loved college basketball, came to visit us from Bowling Green, Kentucky. And he liked to get out of the house, and one of the favorite things he would do is go watch high school basketball games. And he went one night. It happened to be the in-town rivalry between Everett High School and Eastern High School. Jay Vincent, who used to play for the Mavericks, he was playing on Eastern, on their high school team. Magic Johnson, who was in 7th grade at the time, was playing on Everett High School, and they played together. And Magic Johnson cut his hand in that game, dunking the basketball in a high school rivalry game. So anyway, Magic Johnson, my grandfather came back and he told me, and I'm named after my grandfather, so special place in my heart. He's no longer with us, but he said, James Ray Bagwell was his name. I'm James Ray Munchback. He said, "I just saw the greatest basketball player I've ever witnessed." And this was when he was in 7th grade. So my point about all this is, the day that my friend Kirk introduced me to Magic Johnson, it was June, school was out, it was hot, Lansing, Michigan, it was hot, and we went to Everett High School to the gymnasium. And so Magic Johnson would have been going into high school, from junior high into high school. And we went to the gym, and there was one person in the gym, and it was hot, there was no air conditioning, and Magic Johnson was shooting free throws. And I'm like thinking, this guy must be really boring. He's spending his summer day in June in the gym alone shooting free throws. And I tell you that story because what I've come to believe, what I know is true, is that discipline is the small thing that you can do that will develop the muscle and the capability in you that will allow you to do the really big thing that you could never, ever do if you didn't have the small discipline. So Magic Johnson was willing to commit to the small steps, the small disciplines that he could do. I mean, any of us could have decided we were going to spend that day shooting free throws, practicing the very basic discipline of basketball. We could have done that, but instead we were playing kickball, we were going to the beach, we were looking for girls, we were smoking. No, I can't say that because that would be bad. But you know what we were doing, what you were doing in high school or junior high or during those dark years when you were trying to discover who you were and what life was about. And Magic Johnson was shooting free throws. So that small discipline pays off in any area of life. And so that's kind of the good news, is that what I'm going to teach you this semester is super easy, simple, small steps. The question is, are you going to do it or not? If you do it, I promise you it will work out. So you're going to learn how to make wise choices with money, but you're also going to learn those small disciplines. The bad news is, and this is really bad news, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but you and I, everyone you know, if you grew up anywhere near a culture of consumerism, in the United States for sure, if you're going to a university, you're being influenced and you are a victim. We're all victims of three things. I don't care. You could be a victim of something else too, but the three things that are most likely, most common enemies that you are a victim of, number one is your own ignorance. And so if you don't know better, you won't do better. And so the truth about money in America is most people are ignorant. Most people choose to be ignorant. They'd rather be ignorant trust me, I have been doing this business for a long time, and I cannot tell you how many people I've worked with or come in contact with who did not want to learn any of the basic disciplines of managing money. They would prefer to avoid it, and they were victims, and they remain victims of their own ignorance. And that is the truth. That's the reality. You're a victim of your own ignorance. In whatever area of life that you choose to be ignorant, or you allow yourself to be ignorant, you're a victim to that. It's a choice, and that's kind of the second. The second is you're a victim to your own laziness. And trust me, we all have an element of laziness in us. And maybe you're already on the track where you get it, that you're working hard, you're doing like Magic Johnson in whatever area of life that you're motivated to take the steps forward, to do the things you need to do to get to where you want to be. Then you've already started to work and fight against that thing, and you've grown stronger, you've grown muscles in those areas. And so, the second area of being a victim to your own laziness, you've got that well underway, and I'm hoping that you recognize that. And even more, if you're living under the victimhood of your own laziness, I know a whole bunch of us live under the weight of being a victim to our own laziness. The solution, the medicine, the cure is discipline. Start with a small discipline and start working on that. And it's true. These are self-evident truths. These are not my views. They're the truth. And so, number 3, the bad news is you're a victim of your own bad choices. And most of that comes from ignorance. Much of that comes from laziness. And so if you can solve those first 2 victimhood scenarios, the third one will fall into place pretty quick. In this course, and what I'm going to teach you this semester, it operates on these basic assumptions. And you may disagree with these assumptions. You may agree with these. You may recognize them as self-evident truth, which is how I recognize them. Or you may say, no, not me, I'm not. And that's fine. You get to decide what you believe. You get to decide what you choose to believe. But what you choose to believe is going to turn into how you think about life and how you think about money, in this case, in the context of this course. And I promise you, the things that I'm going to teach you this semester, they go way beyond just money management. And so the good news, the bad news, and here's the big idea. And the big idea is really simple. And what I want you to think about, I already asked you to consider answering the question about how do you feel about the weight of managing money as a responsible adult, being responsible for your own financial future. So I want you to think about your life in 25 years. Why 25 years? Just because, for the most part, college students are somewhere in the area of 20 to 25. I know some of you are older, some of you are younger, but I want you to just think about your life in 25 years. So let's imagine you're 50 years old. I turned 59 this year. It goes fast, believe me. So I want you to think about that, and I want you just to understand that the financial habits that you develop today, those financial habits are going to become the reality later in your life. So, Introduction to Personal Finance is really designed to teach you these small, easy steps that you can take today. And if you do listen along, and if you do decide to be engaged in this course, and I don't mean just to earn a grade, I mean to actually learn the principles and the process of managing money and making wise financial decisions. If you decide to engage in that and buy into that and really make it your goal, the goal of this course, the big idea is to become a millionaire by the time you're 50. That's the big idea. And I can teach you how to do that. Now, at this point, if we were sitting together in a classroom, I would pause and I would wait and I would ask if there were any questions. So I'm going to do that for a moment. And I'm going to say to those of you who are listening, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, I'm not looking at the YouTube stream right now, or the Facebook stream. But if you're out there on Facebook or YouTube, the question I would ask if I were you and I were taking this course is the question I'm kind of waiting for someone to ask right now after all that I've said. And I'm looking and I'm not seeing any questions going into the Zoom chat, which could mean that Netflix is getting some more traffic, or Facebook or Twitter. Maybe you're not really with me. Are you there? If you're there, oh, I got a new message. Let's see what it says. Just to clarify, did you say to screenshot what we put in the chats and upload to Blackboard? No, I didn't say upload it to Blackboard. I said screenshot it and save it. I'm going to talk about how you upload your assignments to Blackboard in just a minute, in just a few minutes. But right now, I'm talking about the big idea in the course, and I'm asking you if you have any questions about anything that I've said so far, especially and particularly the big idea that I'm going to teach you how to become a millionaire by the time you're 50 years old. So let me just say this about becoming a millionaire. Well, what's your definition, first of all, of a millionaire? What does that even mean to you? My phone just rang. Sorry about that. So give me an answer to that. I hate it when my phone rings, then music pops up on my Mac, and it just messes up everything. Someone who has $1 million, Harsh said. So another question, what was the first small step you took to gain better financial literacy? Good question, David. So again, what's a millionaire? Answer that question, David, and I'll answer your question about the first step. Harsh, you said someone who has $1 million. That's kind of sort of halfway, not quite right. So anyone else, what is it? Someone with at least $3 million, Alyssa says. That's pretty random. Tell me more about that. 3 million? Why did you say someone who has 3 million is a millionaire? I don't get it. Tell me a little more. That's not quite right. It's more than a couple, it's a few million. Mercy says 50 million. Someone who's financially stable. Okay, well, all that's good, but there's a very simple, very clear, very specific definition to becoming a millionaire. In the context of this course, when I tell you I want to teach you how to become a millionaire by the time you're 50, there's a very specific definition that I'm talking about. I think it'd be good if we all understand it. Someone who possesses assets of over 1 million. Eris, you have come so close to the answer, but you're missing a very, very important element. When you use the word assets, there are a couple other words, assets, and if you're an accounting major, help me out here, assets, and maybe the fundamental idea of millionaire is just the idea of regenerating wealth, not just having $1 million in the bank. That's great, David, but that's still not the specific definition I'm looking for. So Harsh says the right answer, a net worth of $1 million. That's the correct answer, Harsh. So Kevin says liability. Yes. Assets and liabilities. If you're an accounting major, you know that you could have $10 billion in assets, but if you have $12 billion in liabilities, your net worth is a negative $2 billion. So the definition I'm talking about is a net worth of $1 million, which means when you're 50, you have $50 million of net worth, primarily 1 million. That's what it means to be a millionaire by the time you're 50. Now, look, we could talk about that definition all day long, but technically that's the correct definition, is a net worth of $1 million when you're 50. That means all of your debt and all of your assets combined, and you have a positive net worth of $1 million. So a couple things about that. My wife, she thinks that making that the goal of this course is probably not the best idea. When I started teaching this course and I set out the big idea, the goal that I wanted to teach towards, teach about, teach how to, that made sense to me. But a lot of my friends who are quite religious, Christians, Baptists, conservatives, they think, you're teaching in a college course and you have this opportunity to try to change lives, try to make life better for students. Maybe you should teach them that it's not all about money. Maybe you should teach them that there's something way more important than just money. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. I do. I believe that. It's totally who I am, that what matters most is not about the numbers. But on the other hand, I happen to know that becoming a millionaire by the time you're 50 is not rocket science. It's not hard. In fact, by the time you're 50, $1 million net worth is not going to be significant at all. It's going to be a very low bar. But it would be better for you to have a net worth of $1 million by the time you're 50 than to be buried in debt by the time you're 45 or 35 or 25. Because the longer you stay buried in debt, the less likely it is that you're going to have any net worth by the time you're 50. 50 is just a number I picked because for me, 50 was important. Because I value freedom. I value having options. And when I started teaching this class especially, one of the things that I was so thankful for is that I had the option of spending the time that it would take to be here instead of over there in my business. I had that option because of some decisions I made early on, some financial choices that I made, some small steps that I chose to do, some little disciplines that had huge payoffs for me. And so I'm saying the same thing to you. Doesn't really matter about the $1 million. The question is, what situation are you going to be in 25 years from now? And how do we change that? And this course, the big idea is to teach you the things you can do, the choices you can make, the steps you can take to really transform the trajectory of your financial life. So, yes, the world revolves around money. Leo has a big question mark. Leo, I have no idea what you're questioning. You might want to give me a little bit more information there. Okay, so yes, the world revolves around money, and I know that you're going to have to learn how to manage money. So here are the 3 laws of personal finance. This is a big part of the course. I told you about my friend Sam. Sam has he set the table for this course. I'm getting a little I just found out I think I'm not streaming. Looks like I have a connection issue. Hold on, let me fix that real quick. Not sure it's going to make any difference today, but we will post this video. I'll make sure that it gets on YouTube and on Facebook if it's not posting there now. Sorry about that. So anyway, these 3 laws of personal finance, they kind of encapsulate the course and what you're going to learn this semester. The law of spending and saving. You're going to spend some time, some assignments, working on budgets and how that can help you. So you'll see that in your online portal. The next one is the law of tax advantaged investing, and I'm not going to go into each of these right now. I'm just going to tell you that these are the keys to building a financial plan that will produce extraordinarily better results than if you disregard these 3 laws of personal finance. And the last one, the most important one, is the law of purpose and contentment. I think it's actually supposed to be purpose and commitment, but I put contentment for another reason. So either way, the law of purpose and commitment. That's what Magic Johnson had. He had a purpose. He knew what he was trying to achieve. He had a higher purpose than we did. Me and Kirk, we were just hanging out having fun, but Magic Johnson, he was on a mission. And so I'm asking you to consider your life and what it would look like if you had a mission, if you had something worth committing to. And I know most of you just want to get an A, and I get that. And I say that with all due respect as a student who graduated with a solid C average. Yeah, I worked full-time in college. I paid for my own college, and I was happy just to graduate. And getting an A was always nice, but it was very rare for me. And yet, when I teach this course, I find that pretty much every student expects to get an A and wants to get an A and tells me they expect an A, and that's great. But I couldn't care less what grade you get in this course. Doesn't matter to me what grade you get. What matters to me is that you learn the things that I'm going to teach you. On the other hand, I have all the respect in the world for those of you who work to earn an A in a course. In this course, I'm going to make it easy for you. If you want to be an A student, it's all going to be laid out for you to do that. And the first thing I want you to know, let's jump over to the syllabus now, and we'll just jump into the nuts and bolts. So take a look at the syllabus. You'll see these lessons and assignments. These are the these are the things that you will do to earn your A. And somewhere in here, I guess I didn't include it. I did include it here. So these dates, due dates that are in the syllabus, they are they're going to be pretty close, but I just want to encourage you to pay attention to Blackboard, not Money Study Group, not even the syllabus, but I'm going to post these assignments in Blackboard, and the due dates are going to be in Blackboard. So just pay attention to the due dates in Blackboard. You're welcome to use this syllabus as a guide for you to plan and organize your activity, and it'll be pretty close. But when we get to the end of the class, sometimes the due dates are a little different. So just pay attention to the due dates in Blackboard as we go through the course. Let's see. So here's the big idea for earning an A. This is the best advice I'm going to give in this whole lecture. In fact, I'm going to give this multiple times, but please pay attention to this, listen to this, make a mental note of this, share this in GroupMe, share this with anyone who you know who's taking this course who wants to earn an A. Assignments are always due Tuesday at 10 a.m. Tuesday at 10 a.m. That's when they're due. If they're late, you get 1 point. So if you turn it in at 10:01 a.m., I might give you the full 50 points, or I might give you 1. It needs to be in by 10 a.m. Not 10:05, not 10:10. If you turn it in late, what you're telling me is this: I waited till the last minute and I got it in right under the wire, and that's fine. That's what I would have done in college. I would have done it at the last minute, and I earned a lot of C's doing that. And you're welcome to do that yourself. But just know, you will need to turn in all assignments throughout the course, even if they're late. So if you get in a bind and you have to do it late, that's no problem. You can turn it in late. You'll get 1 point, which tells me you did the assignment, and you won't get a deduction. In addition to not getting the points for the assignment, you won't get any deductions for your class participation, which is 200 points. So if you decide you're just going to blow off an assignment, I will deduct. You'll get 0 for the assignment because you didn't do it, and you'll get a deduction on the 200 points cumulative for class participation. So now the good news: if you turn your assignment in early, by Friday at 3 p.m., this is where you may want to make a note, and you may want to remind yourself, maybe put it on your calendar, to turn in your assignments for personal finance no later than Friday at 3 p.m. If you do that, you're going to receive extra points for each assignment you turn in early, and those extra points add up nicely. There's a reason I do this. I'll tell you what the reason is in just a minute, but again, put it on your calendar, share it in GroupMe, remind your friends, anyone that you're working with throughout the course. These assignments are due on Tuesday at 10 a.m., but you get extra points if you turn them in by Friday at 3 p.m. Extra points. And another benefit to turning them in early is I'm pretty I'm pretty generous in grading in general, but if you turn it in by Friday at 3 p.m., it gives me time to spend more time looking at your assignment and giving you feedback. And if you're missing something, if I have to make a deduction, I'm going to say, hey, I'm deducting 20 points out of 50 because you didn't do the quiz in money study group, which is what I'll do. I'll deduct 20 points. I'll say you didn't do the quiz in money study group. You didn't give me a screenshot of your quiz, so I don't know that you did anything in money study group because you didn't take the quiz. But because you turned the assignment in early, you have an opportunity to go back and do the quiz and resubmit the assignment. So you get extra points, you get an opportunity to fix mistakes. And number 3, if I give you some insight, some input about just improving, maybe you missed something, you're not going to get that kind of input if you turn it in, at 1:30 in the morning on Monday night, Tuesday morning. It's just, I'm not going to have time to give you the kind of attention that I will if you turn your assignment in by Friday at 3. Now, here's a big benefit to turning your assignments in early by Friday at 3 p.m. If you do that, by the time we get to near the end of the course, the time that normally final exams take place, we don't have a final exam. We have a capstone assignment. So your capstone assignment, which is worth, how many points is that worth? 200 points. So your class participation is worth 200 points, and your capstone assignment, which is really just it's like taking all of your assignments throughout the course and putting them all together in one report. And you're going to see how that works as you develop your financial plan using the financial planning software that we're making available to you as part of the course. That financial plan is a bunch of little data cards that you're going to be building throughout the semester, piece by piece. It's like a big puzzle. You're going to do one piece, we'll work on that in one assignment, we'll go to the next piece, we'll work on that, and each of those pieces make up the full puzzle. And so when you get to the capstone, really what you're doing is you're just taking all of the assignments you've already done and you're putting them in one report, and that report is your capstone assignment. For most of you, that capstone assignment is going to be really easy because you've already done the work and you've already created a very comprehensive financial plan. For some of you that are struggling throughout the semester and you're turning things in late and you're not really getting all the points and you're missing important key elements and yada yada yada, by the time you do your capstone, you're going to be working with a whole bunch of missing pieces and incomplete, inaccurate parts. And when you do your capstone, it's going to be basically, I'll be deducting just like I did throughout the semester for each of the pieces. So the point is, stay up to date on the course, do your assignments early so you get feedback, participate in GroupMe. If you have a question, ask the question so that you get the right answer. And if everyone or if lots of students are struggling with the same question, I will come in each week and I'll do a specific tutorial to answer the question and make sure you get on the right page. I want you to, in the smallest amount of time possible, I want you to be able to easily earn an A in this course. The key magic number is 950 points. If you're doing your assignments early and you're getting extra points, you're going to find that at the end of the semester, when you would normally be spending a lot of extra time preparing for a final exam, you're going to find that at the end of the semester, early on, you're going to have more than enough points to get an A. And the way to do that is keep up with your assignments, turn them in early, do your class participation, little answer questions, and save a screenshot, include it in your assignment, and you'll be good to go. So let's talk about the assignments just for a minute. I don't have an example here, but you'll see one in your money study group, an example of an article. So most of the assignments, you're going to do an assignment, you're going to watch some videos, you're going to read, do a little research, whatever, and then you're going to do an article. And your article's 800 to 1,000 words, okay? And if you're smart, you'll be using Siri to dictate. when I was in college, we had typewriters. We didn't have computers, and I had to pay somebody to do my papers. So my phone just rang again. I should turn it off. I used to do that every time we had class. I would hold up my phone and turn it off and say, you should turn off your phone. Right now I can't tell if your phone's off or if you're on Netflix, so I hope you're still here. I'm about to wrap it up, so if you have questions, post them in the chat. But back to the article. You know, there's 12 assignments throughout the course, and all of them require an article, which is supposed to be a PDF. So don't send me a Word document, or I'll send it back to you and say, I'll say right here, it says PDF files only. So if you send me a Word document or some other document, I'll send it back to you and I'll say, send me a PDF file, because it takes so much time to open. Not always, but it just, a PDF file instantly opens. It's so much easier on my end when I'm grading 100 assignments a week, literally. So thanks for that. Any questions? I know there's so much more I could cover, but I'm going to leave it at that and let you guys ask some questions. Your next step, if you haven't already registered and logged into Money Study Group, you need to do that. Are the assignments on Money Study Group site Blackboard? I think, Leo, you're saying, are the assignments on the Money Study Group site, or are they on Blackboard? Is that your question? Yes. So the answer is all assignments. If you were late, you missed me saying this, or you were watching Netflix. All assignments are in Blackboard. And if I forgot to say it, then that's on me. But all of your assignments are going to be in Blackboard. But Money Study Group will have quizzes, and they will be part of your assignment. So you'll do the quiz, you'll get your result, you'll grab a screenshot, and you'll put that into your article. Now, let me talk about screenshots for a minute. A screenshot is not taking a picture of your screen. If you do that, I'm going to deduct and I'm going to send it back and I'm going to say, you need to learn how to take a screenshot. A screenshot is using some kind of app or tool. There are tons of them out there where you just actually take a picture of your screen from the screen. You use the computer to take a screenshot. And that's what you're going to need to do. You're going to take a lot of screenshots this semester. So if you don't know how to do that, get with someone who can help you, or check with Mr. Google. It's super easy. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to do your quiz in Money Study Group. You're going to grab a screenshot and you'll pop that into your article, just like you're going to pop in other screenshots into your article to show me what you did. You're going to show me what you did in your financial planning portal by grabbing a screenshot of each of the data cards that you're going to build throughout the semester. And I know that may seem confusing at this moment, but I promise you, after you get into it, after you register and enroll at Money Study Group and you do the first few assignments, the first few lessons there, you're going to see. Mostly Money Study Group is tutorials that show you how to do what you need to do so that you can get full credit on your Blackboard assignment. But look, this is a U of H course, and all of the points that you're going to earn this semester have to do with Blackboard. So all of the assignments that you need to pay attention to in terms of due dates will be in Blackboard. So those assignments are pretty detailed, and they'll tell you what you need to do, including taking a screenshot of your quiz from Money Study Group. Okay, so on Mac, it's Shift-Command-3. For Windows, you can, yeah, cool, thanks. There's lots of ways to do that. I like to use different apps to do it because they have different features and benefits. But each of these machines are built with an easy way to take a screenshot. In fact, I don't know about if you know how to do this, but on my iPad right here, which is what you're seeing on the screen, right? That's my iPad. If I want to take a screenshot of this, what's on my iPad, I hold this button and this button together. So I just, boom, it just took a screenshot. So now I can save that screenshot to Photos, And now if I go to photos, that screenshot's going to be there. If I go to library, maybe not. Well, it's not showing at the moment. I don't know why, but it will here in a minute. It's gathering. Anyway, that's super easy to do. The same way on your iPhone. If you're on your iPhone, I would not encourage you to try to do this course on your iPhone. If you're doing that, that's crazy. The screen's just too small, and while the site may be optimized for mobile, that's just not smart, okay? If you're not using a real machine to do your work, then that's going to be on you. All right, thank you, Yunkin, or Yunking. I'm not sure how to say your name, but I appreciate your comment there. Are we allowed to email you with financial questions, or are we solely supposed to ask in the group me? David, that's an interesting question. I don't know what you mean by a financial question. If you actually are looking for financial advice, I would encourage you to wait until after the semester. And then if you want to reach out to me as a professional, as a fiduciary, I'm happy to meet with you and give you helpful financial advice. But during the course, let's keep everything to not, hey, what do I do with my investments? We can do that after the semester, but let's keep it to what do I need to do in this course? And those kinds of questions, I would encourage you to post those in group me. Yeah, don't send me an email with your question about how to access your money study group, or pop into group me and ask that question, because I'm available to answer the questions that are challenging and are not, like if you have a problem, you can't log into Money Study Group, that's something you would email me for, but not a question about, what do I do in this week's assignment. Don't be emailing me with those kinds of questions. That's why we have GroupMe. So I hope that answered your question, David. Could you go more into detail about the articles, and where do we find the financial planning software? Harsh, go to moneystudygroup.com, register and enroll, and that will answer your questions, and I'll go into more detail there. I'm not going to do that here. So good question. I'm assuming, Harsh, that you've not yet registered and not yet enrolled in moneystudygroup.com. Is that correct? I'm waiting, Harsh. Yeah, I was waiting after this meeting. Perfect. Yep. Time to roll. If you've been waiting, now's a good time to stop waiting and go ahead and register and enroll at moneystudygroup.com. The cost is $79.95. You can use PayPal or credit card or whatever you need, but you're going to have to register. You're going to have to enroll, because that's where we post the videos, the how-tos. That's the way you're going to be most likely. The sooner you do that, the more likely it is that you're going to just roll right through this semester with no problems. If there are tutorials in the Money Study Group that we watch, what will the live lectures cover? Does the tutorials act as a supplement? That's a good question, David. So what will the live lectures cover? The live lectures are going to cover pretty much that this is this week's assignment. This is the questions and challenges we've had last week. This is answers to the questions that I've seen. So I'm going to spend these Zoom meetings highlighting each week's assignment, each week's major topics. Okay, so like this week I highlighted, what is this course about? What's the big idea? And so that isn't really in Money Study Group, because this is a live session, and that's what these weekly Zoom meetings will be about. Two things I want you to know about Zoom meetings before I let you go. And I say Zoom meeting, you can watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on Facebook. They're being live streamed, and they will be posted in your playlist on YouTube, so you can always go back and watch it again. Two things you need to know, though, is this is required. It's like going to class. You have to go to this class. It's asynchronous. You do it on your time. I would appreciate if you're available to do it during the 10 a.m. Tuesday meeting, Zoom meeting, but you are required because I'm going to cover things in this lecture that you're not going to get anywhere else. And if you don't have that information, you're responsible for having that information. So that's what I'm going to use these lectures for. Number 2 is this meeting, the Zoom meeting, you will be allowed to join up until 5 minutes after 10. So a whole lot of folks came at 20 minutes after, 15 minutes after, 10 minutes after. Starting next week, if you get here at 10:06, you will not be admitted. You're late, doors closed. I'm not, and the reason for that is you're responsible for being at the meeting, watching it, and when I start at 10:05 a.m. is when I'm going to start. As soon as I start, I'm going to be covering things that you need to know, and I'm going to cover the most important things first. And so if you get here at 10:10 and you have questions and now I have to repeat it, that's not fair to the people who show up on time. So be on time if you want to be part of the Zoom meeting. Otherwise, you need to watch it on YouTube or Facebook. Hope that helps. The syllabus says that saving videos, summary, and goals is due next week. Is that the introduction getting started module? Yes, Harsh, that is correct. Okay, I don't see any other questions. I'm going to wait. Going once, going twice, going. Any questions? All right, welcome aboard. I'm really excited about getting started this semester. I hope you are too. I look forward to seeing your comments. If you joined late, your class participation assignment every week is going to be a question, a discussion issue, and you're required to post your comments, save a screenshot, and include it in each week's lesson. And so this week is the big question, how are you feeling about the responsibility of your financial future, of managing your financial matters as an adult, as a responsible adult? How are you feeling about that? Is that something you're stressed about? Is it something you feel pretty good about? And I'm hoping that by the time we start the semester versus the time we end the semester, you will feel very differently, because I'm going to teach you how to become a millionaire by the time you're 50. And the question nobody asked, which is the question I would ask if I were you. I would absolutely want to know the answer to this question. So I'm not even going to ask the question. I'm just going to wait and see if somebody will post that question somewhere. Who knows, I might give you an extra 50 points, maybe 20, maybe 10, but I'll give you a big attaboy if you ask the question that I would absolutely freaking ask if I were you about anybody who's sitting here. David, so that's not really a question, are you a millionaire? That's one question, but I'm 59 years old and I'm sitting here telling you I can teach you how to become a millionaire by the time you're 50. So the real question is a little bit different than, did you achieve that goal by the time you were 60? That's a whole decade. And so the question you asked David is really close, and Jessica, you're really close, and yes, Justin, not Justin, but Justin, that's a cool name. I don't think I've ever seen Justin. You got it right. I'm not even going to tell you what the answer is, because if you're not looking at the chat, you're missing it. The question I would ask is the one Justin asked. It's the only question I would care about if I were taking this course and I was listening to somebody tell me they're going to teach me how to become a millionaire by the time they were 50. I'd want to know the answer to that question. Great job, Justin. Okay, how did I do it, Alonda? Stick around. I'm going to teach you exactly how I did it. There's no mystery, no secret in this course. The 3 laws to personal finance that I covered earlier, those are the key. If you can remember those and you start to learn how to put those into action, you will have no problem becoming a millionaire by the time you're 50. So thank you very much. I appreciate you guys being here, and I look forward to next time. If you have any questions, jump into GroupMe, ask the question, and if you have the answer, awesome. I'll be watching to see what's going on in GroupMe. And if you can't get into GroupMe, then again, go into moneystudygroup.com, register and enroll, and use that link. It'll get you there. All right, y'all have a great weekend. A great week, great day, and good luck on your assignment. I'll be posting that soon. I'm guessing the assignment for next week will be posted on Blackboard. Harsh? Yes, that's what I was just about to say. As soon as I end this call, typically each week, I will go into Blackboard and post the assignment for the following week so you can get right on it. So thanks. Take care.